You are sitting on a hard, unpadded wooden chair. The room is dim. A single desk lamp cuts through the shadows, casting its light on a damp, yellowed envelope. The bold print on the paper reads, Master 8 Tournament Registration Form. Entry fee, $92,000. Red sits at the opposite end of the table. He hasn't uttered a single word in 20 minutes. Elbows planted on the wood, head bowed, his hands buried in his hair. As he tears at his locks in frustration, the static electricity in your cheeks begins to build, uncontrolled, pressurized, teetering right on the edge of a discharge. You are Pikachu, the most popular, most adorable Pokemon in the world, but right now, trapped in this stifling, humid room, you are forced to face a cold reality. Your greatest dream has just been shattered. Red finally breaks the silence, the first time since breaking the news that a local cartel hijacked the funds you needed for the opportunity of a lifetime. Unable to even meet your gaze, he whispers, "There is a way. I made contact with a rival syndicate," he continues. "They can get our money back. But in exchange, they need you to wiretap their enemies. Scraping together that kind of cash again, impossible. Earning your spot in the tournament to prove you are the best in the world, gone, unless you take the deal." You give a slow, quiet nod. Red makes the call, and just like that, leaving your spotless, heroic past behind, you step into the back of a blacked-out van. The van pulls up to a desolate warehouse. The heavy metal shutters roll up automatically, and one of the thugs gives a curt nod inside. The moment you step inside, the temperature drops by 12 degrees. The metallic slam of the shutter closing behind you is instantly swallowed by the deafening roar of cooling fans. This isn't a warehouse at all. It's a massive, clandestine server room. Bathed in the glow of blue and violet neon lights, a figure steps forward. He is tall, imposing, his face an unreadable mask. The boss. He points a finger toward a server rack. He gives a single command. Listen. The fine hairs on your cheeks stand on end the instant they brush against the metal chassis. You detect an encrypted frequency scanning across the 2.4 gigahertz band. It's the enemy's radio network. 128-bit encryption, rolling keys. Your natural bioelectricity shatters that cipher in exactly 0.4 milliseconds. It's effortless, automatic, pure reflex. The channel bursts open and you start monitoring the chatter. Within 5 minutes, you intercept the first major leak and relay the intel to the boss. He doesn't say a word. He simply turns on his heel and exits the room. High on the wall, an LED display flickers to life. The number $92,000 drops to $84,000. In that instant, you understand the game. The more you work, the faster you buy your freedom. Week 1. Your next assignment is to pinpoint a rival courier's location. Child's play. You press your cheek against the rig. 2.1 seconds. You breach the control panel. 1.5 seconds. You identify the access point. 1.1 seconds later, you have his exact coordinates. The runner gets busted at a routine traffic stop. Not because of bad luck, but because he's up against an adversary with powers he can't even comprehend. It's a mid-level hit. Payout, $12,000. The screen updates, $72,000. Week 2. The target is the coordinates of an enemy warehouse, a massive drug manufacturing lab. The rivals aren't stupid. They strictly ban mobile phones inside the facility. But there's always a backdoor. First, you crack the telecom operator's central hub. Then you triangulate the blind signals bouncing between the local cell towers. It's a complex, grueling task for a human. The entire process takes you barely a minute. You feed the data to the boss, who forwards it to his corrupt contacts inside the government. 2 days later, a massive dawn raid wipes the lab off the map. The screen updates, $52,000. Week 3. After your last operation, the atmosphere changes. The cartel's human technicians now instinctively button their jackets when you walk by, a sign of deep respect. The heavy guarding the door no longer makes eye contact. He stares straight ahead. When the boss enters the server room, he comes to you for the situation report. None of this bothers you anymore. In fact, your posture has grown as rigid as the static in your fur. Your gaze has become just as freezing as the ambient air of the server room. Week 4. The objective. The rival syndicate's financial network. Account movements, wire transfers, ledgers, names. The vault is locked behind 2048-bit RSA encryption. Mathematically unbreakable, at least with standard hardware. You simply read the electromagnetic fluctuations bleeding off the copper backbone with your cheeks. 0.7 milliseconds, you snag the leak. The financial records are yours. The screen updates. $39,000. Week 5. The finish line is in sight, but But with every day that passes, the endless news of brutal raids burns deeper into your psyche. You aren't just intercepting cartel frequencies anymore. The frantic chatter of police scanners bleeds through the noise. You realize your enemies don't need a flawless signal tracker to hunt you down. The grim news reports, the desperate radio traffic, the claustrophobic hum of this frozen room. Every single detail is a ticking clock, a reminder that your turn could be next. Now, every single time you hear that metal shutter roll open, the electricity in your cheeks surges to 50,000 volts. Week 6. You are no longer just an ordinary lackey carrying out orders. You're taking the initiative. You're working day and night, hunting for a signal, desperate to catch something big. And finally, you do. You intercept one of the rival cartel's primary frequencies. A name is mentioned, a specific port, a date, a time. You immediately pass the intel to the boss. That very night, breaking news flashes across the screen. A massive raid at the docks. One of the biggest smuggling busts in the city's history. 12 arrests. The screen updates, $14,000. Week 7. You're still gritting your teeth every time the police scanner crackles to life. The electrical charge in your cheeks hasn't dropped below 30,000 volts in weeks, but you know you are agonizingly close. You keep visualizing the stadium. You picture the exact moment you and Red will walk out into the world's most prestigious tournament. Tens of thousands of spectators chanting your name, just one step left. Week 8. The exact coordinates of a high-ranking rival cartel executive's mansion. Your final job. The estate is heavily shielded with signal jammers, but a jammer's signal can be jammed too. It takes you exactly 0.8 milliseconds to pinpoint the jammer's frequency. You match and shift frequencies at the exact same speed. The GPS data begins to leak through. At that same moment, a strange knot tightens in your stomach. You look up at the digital display. $0. It is done. With exactly 9 days left until the tournament, you've secured the funds. You send word to the boss. He arrives shortly after. You don't even need to speak. He already knows. You're done, he says, his face completely expressionless. Red is waiting for you at another warehouse. You head outside and step into the black van. The new warehouse looks similar to the first, just slightly larger. The armed guards at the gate hit a remote. The heavy metal shutters roll up, and you step inside. This is another server room, boasting a much more professional infrastructure. But the layout is strange. The IT hardware, cooling systems, and UPS units are all clustered tightly together dead in the center of the room. It's like a room within a room, but there are no walls separating it. Red is inside. He's sitting on a chair directly in front of a massive server rack. The moment you see him, you sprint over and throw your arms around him. Red doesn't react. He doesn't speak. He doesn't even look you in the eye. He simply stands up from the chair and takes 2 steps backward. Before you even have a chance to follow him, heavy copper walls come crashing down from the ceiling. It's a cage, perfectly outlining the boundaries of the clustered servers. The deafening sound of solid copper slamming into concrete echoes endlessly through the warehouse. Copper claws scratching at your brain. Through the heavy wire mesh, you can see what is happening outside. The boss hands Red a piece of paper. An IOU. You're done, the boss says, without a single muscle moving on his face. Your $53,000 in casino chips are waiting for you on the floor. Cash them out whenever you want. In that split second, everything clicks. There was no cartel robbery. The stolen money never existed. Red took the $92,000 you both worked so hard to save, and he lost it all gambling. He fell deep into debt, and to buy his way back to the poker table, he sold you. The cartel was in on the lie the entire time. The countdown on the digital screen, the money you were supposedly earning, it was all a stall tactic, a distraction to keep you busy and compliant until the construction of this permanent cage was finished. The fur on your body stands on end, completely out of your control. Your ears pin flat against your skull. Your entire body goes rigid. Violent muscle spasms tear through you, but you don't even feel them. 60,000 volts, 75,000 volts, 100,000 volts. You vomit blinding golden electricity onto the copper walls with a deafening, terrifying screech. But the cage holds. It is a perfect Faraday cage. The electricity grounds itself into the concrete and vanishes. Neither Red nor the boss takes a single point of damage. You completely discharge. Your consciousness fades. A blinding white light swallows everything. When you finally open your eyes, you are tied to a chair in the exact same room. Dozens of data cables have been surgically stitched into your neck and cheeks. A permanent data transfer node has been integrated directly into your brain's temporal lobe. Everything you intercept, you transmit straight to a monitor, involuntarily, automatically, like a soulless AI programmed only to respond. For the sake of a dream that was never real, you have been reduced to a living, breathing data processor. But you are not the only victim of this system. All the others rebelled too, screaming to the void, asking why this had to happen to them. That is, until you learn the ash-covered story of Charizard,